Hello and welcome back to the Reapers. So we're in our Viggen and today we're going to look at our RWR, our radar warning receiver. So first of all, just a bit of theory about what this is. Most or all modern fighter aircraft have an RWR, and what it does is it listens. It's a passive system only. It listens to radar signals, whether they are hostile or friendly, and basically warns you about them. It interprets them into a visual layout so that you can see the different possible radar threats that are around your aircraft. It works by having several sensors on the peripheries of the aircraft, so on the edges of the wings, on the nose of the aircraft, on the tail of the aircraft, and they listen outwards in a kind of 360-degree listening cone. Now, it's important to point out at this point that it listens from the sides, but it doesn't listen from the top or down the bottom. So there will be dead spots in the system. So on the Viggen, it's presented to us here around the compass rose. You've got 6 lights, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and they show the rough azimuth of the radar that's being passively intercepted. So for instance, if the radar was on the 2 o'clock out there, the radar source, then it would display to us on this light here. Now, this is a very, very simple RWR system. It's not particularly intuitive like the more modern systems, for instance, on the F-15 Eagle or on the Hornet. They would present it in a much better graphical screen where you can see the exact azimuth of the threats and you can see the signal strength of the threats, i.e. how close they are, and it can even tell you what type of aircraft or what type of ground radar it is that's highlighting you with their radar. With this, you don't get all that. All you get is a direct interpretation of the radar that's basically scanning you, and rather than it interpreting which kind of radar that is, you have to do it yourself. So it's based on the PRF, pulse repetition frequency of the radar that is scanning you. Different radars have different PRFs, and basically it presents those PRFs to you in actual sound. So let's just say there's an airplane out there that's shining a radar at us and it has a PRF of 1500 hertz. Then the Viggen will give you an audio signal in exactly 1500 hertz. So we're going to figure out, we're going to use our brain then to figure out what kind of radar that is by listening to the tone or the pitch of the sound. So first of all, in this example, we're going to go look at a ground-based radar. So we're going to unpause. I'm just going to fly along in a straight line. We've got an SA-6 ahead of us, about 20 miles ahead. And we're going to wait for it to start scanning. It's just warming up at the moment. It's going to start scanning, and when it does, we're going to pick up that scan signal on our RWR. So let's just wait until that happens. Okay, it started scanning and we're picking it up. Now, if you listen to this tone, obviously you've got the light there, so it's saying it's our 10 to 11 o'clock. And if you listen to the tone there, that is the tone in hertz that the radar is sending out in PRF, and because we can hear that sound, it's quite a low pitch sound. We know that is a low PRF. It's a low hertz, therefore it's a low PRF. Therefore, we are pretty sure that it's going to be a ground-based radar. We can't tell what type of ground-based radar. We just know it's a ground-based radar. Also, we can distinguish between search and lock. So imagine that radar out there. First of all, it searches, so it essentially scans the sky left to right, or however it does it, and every second or every 2 seconds that scanning beam will flip across our aircraft, and that's when we pick up this signal. So what I'm saying is that between the beeps, the beep, beep, there's 1 or 2 seconds, and that's how we know that it's a search radar. Now that's known as our pilot as being nailed or nails. So at the moment we have our search radar highlighting us. He's not locking us, he's just nailing us at the moment. Okay, so that's how we can identify that threat. Now, we've got no signal strength, way of telling the signal strength, so we don't know how far or close he is. We do get that in more modern RWRs, but at least we know his azimuth and we know whether that he's not locking us at the moment. So let's carry on, and the next thing he will do is lock us. And there it is. So it's a much higher sound now because it's using its track radar, which is going to work at a much higher PRF. And as well as that, the beeps are much closer together. Beep, 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 beep. That means it's tracking us. So when a radar tracks you, rather than scanning it across the sky, so it only highlights you every other 2 seconds, it focuses all its energy on you, and it's now pinging you several times a second, 5 times a second, whatever it is. All radars are different, and hence we're getting the beep, 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 beep. So now we know that we're in trouble. We know we're locked. Now this is known as being spiked. The hostile radar is spiking us. Now at some point he's going to fire his missile at us. Now we won't know when he's going to fire his missile at us because we don't have the function in this RWR to tell when we're being fired upon. So this essentially is our last warning. If you hear this beep, 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 beep at this kind of frequency, you're being tracked, you're being spiked, and he may fire at any time. So let's go and watch him now until he fires. You can see the search radar on the radar vehicle is still spinning round. It's that big dish, but the track radar, which is going to be at the top, is now fixed on us and tracking our every move. Missile out, and you can still see it's that same repetition. It's not changing anything, so we've got no launch warning. So now we're going to take evasive manoeuvres. We can see that it's our 10 or 11 o'clock, so we're going to get burners on and turn away from it. Now the first thing you notice, as soon as we do that, the signal disappears. That doesn't mean we've broken lock. It just means that the radar signal is now in our dead zone. Remember, below us we cannot pick any radar signals up, and above us we cannot pick any radar signals up. So once we're fully turned around, and we level out, you can see he is now within our area of detection, and we're picking his signal up again. And that's it really. I'm not going to show you how to dodge the missile because I'm going to do a whole series on that soon. So that is the ground radar. One thing to say is that as with all WRs, there is no IFF system, so we cannot determine between friend or foe. We just know it's a radar source. It could be red or blue. Next we're going to go up against an aerial threat. Okay, so we've got a new scenario now. We're heading north again, but this time we've got a hostile Su-27 ahead of us, armed up with the missiles, and he's going to come and shoot us down. So we're just going to fly towards him until we first detect that he's scanning the area. We'll probably detect him scanning us before he actually locks us, so stand by for that. Okay, so we're picking up his search. You can see we've got, first of all, notice that the frequency is a little bit higher than with the ground-based radar's frequency. So this is how we're telling. I don't mean the frequency between the beeps, I mean the pitch of the noise. And that's how we're telling, I believe, that it is an airborne target. And because is about 2 seconds between each beep, or maybe 1 second, I think that's telling us that he's currently just searching. He's not locked on us. So let's keep going and see if he gets a lock on us. Okay, he's now got a lock on us. So the frequency of the beeps, the pitch is higher, and the frequency between the beeps is they're much closer together. They're about 2 every second now, something like that. So that's how we tell that he's got a lock on us. Again, we can't tell if it's friendly or foe. We can't tell what type of aircraft it is. We can't tell his altitude or how far away he is. We just know his rough azimuth. So let's follow him now until he fires at us. Right, missile away. Again, no change in tone. We just know that he's spiking us, basically. So he's on the right, so we're going to full power and turn left. Again, he's disappeared off the RWR because he's in our dead zone now, on our belly. And when I get around here, we're going to start picking up that spike again, or we should do. Yep. And so we're running away from him now, but we're picking up his spike again. So that's that really. A couple of other controls. We can turn the sound off completely here. My Swedish isn't good. I think Fran means off. I think Ljuz means vision, or vision only, so lights only. And Ljuz and Lj means sound and light. I think that's what it means. So you've got 3 options you can have there. And you can turn the volume down if you don't like the volume. You've got the master volume knob you can turn down here to make it louder or quieter. So that's it, RWRs. I can't think of anything else to say on that. I hope that helps, and I'll see you later.